All right. All right. I suppose we better get up. All right. $73. Right off the bat. 64 Denver. $75D, not the high D. $85 Philly. 64 Denver? No, 64 Philly. 77. $88. 64 Denver. To Denver. 6. Another 75 Denver out of the roll. Another 64 Denver, another 64 Denver. And this makes the roll a skunk. 15. Not how I want to start the night out. Don't look like there's any color. Don't look like there's any color. Raz, you are first. You are the first in for the night. And I'm only one roll in of the, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 rolls, like I usually do. This is the start of the second roll. And the first roll got the old skunkaroo, because there was nothing in the 50s or better. Four nickel rolls, 3 penny rolls, 2 quarter rolls, and the $1 roll. My typical, what I call 4, 3, 2, 1 hunt. It's a hunt night. I haven't done a hunt in a minute, so I'm like, rather than do a scoping stream, let's actually get a hunt in. Kind of miss hunting. You know, when you don't do it for such a long time. But the scoping rolls or the scoping streams have to be done. Otherwise, I'm not going to find anything. Well, that seems. Well, that almost looks like it was off center quite a bit, doesn't it? I mean, that one's got a real heavy left rim and almost no right rim. Not as noticeable on the back, but definitely there on the front. 64. This will be our 5th 64. Denver. 64s are no longer really hits, though. 69. That looks like a 69D. I still keep 60s, but they don't make a hit. Yeah. 23P. I don't know if these rolls are going to produce anything or not. 85 Philly. We'll see. We'll see what we get. Well, it looks like some newer stuff in these nickels. 1,000. What was that? 22? Might be a couple older ones in this roll here. I don't know. We'll see. 90. What have you been up to, Raz? What's the good news? Figured I'd do a hunt stream tonight, and then when the stream's over, I got a couple packages to maybe open. Get a video or two out of a couple mail days. Yeah, metal prices go crazy. Yeah, you ain't kidding. It'll retract. Give it time. I think people maybe are getting a little too excited. That's a shiny 23. It's not a keeper, but it's a nice looking one. Oh, there's a 2009. Not a bad one. Won't give it the hit, but we will set it aside. What were 2009 Denver's? $46 million. So a much shorter minted modern. I don't get many 09 nickels. I get the pennies, but not the nickels. In fact, that might be my first actual hunted 09 nickel ever. We don't give it the hit, but it is definitely a keeper. 97 Denver. Glued or something there. 02. And a 23. So the 09 keeps this roll out of being a skunk. It's not a great looking one, but still got some steps. Treglar, what's up? Oh, just getting a hunt in tonight. Yeah, spots going crazy. That is no joke there. Let's see, we can move this all the way up to what, here? And it still is in screen. What's up, Treg? Just figured I'd jump on and do a 10 roll hunt. Couple nickels, pennies, quarters, and $1 roll like I usually do. We're only 3 rolls in, so you ain't really missed much. Nothing way out of color there. Oh, it's Cane Shaker. Can't get your computer to the old account, huh? I almost want to say I've seen that username of yours though before. You must have like fired it up at some point. 13. Because it wasn't like something that I was like, oh, I've never seen this person before. Unless I just, for some reason, thought I had. Yeah, computer issues. Isn't it fun? For some reason, mine's been kind of like running slow here, mostly today for the most part. I don't know what's going on today. I thought maybe it was just my internet connection was goofy, but I think it's kind of self-corrected now. Well, I'll have to make a mental note that that's you, Cane Shaker. Ooh, that looked like it had some rotation, unless it was just me doing me. Yeah, it's me doing me. There we go. There's the first hit of the night. 1940. This is an older one, too. This is, I don't get into the 40s too often. At least not this low. We want to see... Well, we want to see an S, but we'll take the D. Philadelphia is going to be 130 or 176 million. So let's hope for a mint mark is basically what we're hoping for. Nope, Philadelphia. Still a hit though, 1940. First hit of the night. Holy smokes, right behind it. 1947. What do we want to see there? Philadelphia's 95. Denver's 37. And San Francisco's 24. So another one we want a mint mark. Nope, Philadelphia. I think that's the best 2-coin back-to-back I think I've ever had. They literally were in the roll back-to-back. It wasn't me just randomly picking 2 coins. 81. Windows 10 deal. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about there. I don't even know what I'm running. If I'm running Windows 10 or 11 or... Half the time I don't know what I'm using. 74. So 2 40s out of this roll. That's a pretty good roll. 95. 06. 18. 6. Another 74. There's some older ones in this roll, so I think there's an old one coming up just from the color. Hey, thanks, Cane Shaker. What did I say that was? A 70? Nope, an 80. This one looks older, just color-wise. What is it? Nope, 71. Talk to you later. Thanks for stopping in. Always appreciate it. Nice to see ya. 86. Ooh, here's a nice looking one anyways. Hard to tell. Some steps there. 23, could have guessed it. 01. 94. That looked like it had rotation. Not really. A little bit. 65. 96P. 70D. See a buffalo coming up. What's the chances of snagging a speared buffalo? I don't see it. 05. Oh, for a second I thought that was just like blackness. That is not mint damage. That's post mint damage there. That is not an error. 96. Another 96. The 90s jar is going to require a scoping here pretty soon, and that is not the high D, and that is a piece of gum. At least I think it is. 84. Raz, are you still hanging out in here? 72. 2020. And probably a 2020 something. 2023 fee. Yeah. Well, their teeth took a beating then. How's the stream, just sound wise, audio wise, and everything like that? I got good quality. Forgot to ask for the initial quality check from the first in. I switched out my coin mat from the other one I had previously back to the Revolver Girl, just because this is a darker mat and the other one was kind of a lighter mat, and I didn't want to get it real dirty with the coin crud that you get from coins. So I went back to this little bit darker mat, and I think it might be one of my favorite ones too, so it doesn't really matter. Nothing, no real color. Seems okay, perfect. Last nickel roll of the night. $89. Yeah, I don't think I've streamed for, it must have been, well, I do a lot of streaming on the weekend is typically when I'll stream, and I don't think I've streamed the last 2 weekends. I think I was just messing around with other things and never got a chance to get on. 83. 88. So the wife has an overnight shift tonight, so I'm like, well, you know what? I am going to do a hunt. And we'll see who shows up for the evening. This looks like it's got a little bit older color. 64. 64 Denver. You can always look for those 64 Denver repunched mint marks. So we always kind of set them aside. We don't save them. Well, I do save legitimately. All the 60s get saved onto my shelf in a tube, but they don't constitute a hit in the hunt. You know, I don't know if my mind's going bad or what, but as soon as I move the coin from the screen, then I forget what year I was looking at half the time. We've not had an S tonight at all. 48. We really want an S in this because it's 11. We're looking for, most of these old ones, you're always looking for a mint mark. So as long as we got a mint mark, we got a pretty decent one. And it's a Denver. 44 million. Not a great looking 48, but a 48 nonetheless. $83. Last half a dozen nickels. Then we're on to pennies. That 88 have steps still? Yeah, look at that. Not bad. 88. What the front looks like. I don't know if that'll be a save once the 80s hit a scoping stream or not. It very well could be. Kind of a good looking 88. Two more nickels. And ending it with a 2020. Alright. Drink time. All right. Oh yeah. I was like, where shouldn't I have 3 pennies? I do have 3 pennies. All right. So we had one skunk roll in the nickels. Yes. As I hunt them, so they'll go into one of 6 jars. Basically, I have a 70s for each denomination. I've got a 70s jar, 80s, 90s, a 2000 to 2009, 10 to 19, and then any 2020s. That's how I kind of keep them separated right away, right out of the hunt, and that's how then I'm like when I just do a scoping stream, I'm essentially doing maybe a couple, trying to get through maybe 2 or 3 jars of a certain decade, and that way what it does for me is it allows me to have my notes up for the mint errors of, like, let's say I'm doing 1980 nickels. I can have my notes up for 1980 nickels right in front of me on the other screen, and it's an easy thing. So I'm not kind of like, it allows me to not have to jump back and forth in like having notes and stuff. just kind of a goofy system as how I started it. We all kind of got our own little systems, I guess. Yeah, so these are essentially cracking them out of hunting the roll itself. And then so it's like something like this, is just going to go into the 1990s penny jar. And I will look at that under the scope in just a hangout looking at coin nights for for a pennies. So like this will go into the 70s jar. But then the three nickels that we actually pulled tonight, we'll look at those. I take those to the scope right after I'm done with the hunt here tonight. So I'll still do these. Anything I set aside over here, I will scope at the end of tonight on this stream. Probably makes no sense as to what I'm doing, but makes sense to me. Because when I first started doing these hunts, what I would do is I would just hunt, and then I'd have a pile of, let's just say, pennies. I'd have a pile of pennies here, and then after the stream, I then had to go through that whole pile of pennies and essentially do what I'm doing right now. So it's like I'm just adding the coin to the jar immediately right now as I look at it. Saves me from sorting a whole pile of coins later. Well, 6 times 3, there's essentially 18. So there's 18 jars sitting here. You can't really see. You can only see this one and a little bit of this one and maybe that one. But there's 3 rows. So there's a row here, which are pennies. There's a row behind it, which is nickels, and then there's a third row behind that, which is quarters. And then the dollar rolls, I don't end up jarring because there's only 25 in a roll in the first place, so I don't jar those. If any of that makes any sense. It's a little bit nicer looking 74. That will probably get pulled as a keeper when the 70s jar is essentially scoped. Some of them, if I hit if that would have been really, really nice, like for sure, without a doubt, MS something, mint state something, then that probably gets set aside and it doesn't make the jar, because I want to keep that out right from the start. I could tell that was copper color coming. 66. There's the oldest one so far. And then usually, like I said, when I do a hunt stream, I call it the 4-3-2-1 hunt because I'm going to hunt four nickels, 3 pennies, 2 quarters, and one dollar roll. These penny, we might end up with a skunk roll on the penny rolls tonight. They just don't. It doesn't feel like they're. Now that's hard to see, but I see that in with my naked eye. Maybe I was gonna say that looked like that D had doubling, but I think it's just the way it's. I think that was just the way the light was hitting it. Not many at all. I mean, I can go several hunts without getting a Canadian. Kind of a nice looking 05. Yeah, Canadians are kind of hit and miss for me. Here's a really nice one. Look, this almost looks like it was a proof, but it's not. But let's hope this is older. If this is older, this would be a set aside. But I'm gonna say this is in the late teens to early 2020s. Oh, that's not a bad 06. That's really not a bad 06. So, like this one here, that one I'll just set aside. It's not going to be a hit in the hunt, but that's a nice 06 for as nice as that still is. I did not expect that to be in the early 2000s. Kind of a redder 96, but that one's not worth setting aside. 82s will have to be weighed. Ooh, a little bit of chatter on that one. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how many Canadian coins I've even had in the last, let's say, 10 hunts. Maybe 3? And I don't collect the Canadians at all. I have some in the collection that essentially came to me in the collection that my grandfather had. So, I mean, I have some, but I don't typically collect them. I'll throw them right into my pocket change for the most part, or give them away to kids or something. Well, the first penny roll, other than that nice 2006, yeah, I think that first penny roll ends up getting the old skunker. Yeah, well, you'd think they'd be pretty common for me, being this close to the border, but not as common as like they seem to be for other people. I don't know if the enders will show up. 70 something, and hard to tell. Yeah, appreciate you hanging out tonight, Raz. Hey, I was watching the Coin Geek the other day where he was doing mail day, or not mail day, but viewer questions, and he answered one of your questions. I forgot what you asked about, but I was like, hey, I know Raz. I know Raz Bobo. Also, what's up? Nothing standing. Some red ones in here. I was going to say long time no see, but I mean, I haven't really streamed that much in the last 2 weeks either, so. I'm into the second penny roll of 3. Got an 09 nickel, a 1940, and a 1947. We're back to back in the roll, actually, which is the first time I think I've ever done that. And then what was this that I pulled? Oh yeah, 48. So really that's all we've hit as far as actual hits for the night. We got 1 penny roll after this one. Now we got 1 penny roll left, 2 quarters, and then my customary $1 roll. And I know there's a Susan B. Anthony on the ender of the dollar, so I'm happy about that because I've over time now become quite the Susan B. Anthony collector. I don't know why. I just have. I got some big Susan B. Anthony coins coming to some videos here pretty quick. Once I get a chance to make them. I've kind of splurged in going after Susan B. Anthony. I got 1 Susan B. Anthony coin that's going to be on a video that I got a good deal on. In fact, I didn't think I was going to get it that as cheap as I got it. What Me Too? What's the Me Too? You Susan B. Anthony collector? Boy, a lot of 70s in this roll. Yeah, you're gonna like the couple Susans that I got coming. I mean, I got them. At least I think I got them. I think they're in packages behind me. I just got to do the unboxing for the mail day for it. What was that, an 01? $69D. Yeah, was it you and me talking about that last time that it should have been not a round coin? Of course, there might be something with, I don't know if there's something with U.S. coinage that, you know, there's a law that they have to be round. Has there ever been a non-round US coin? I don't think there has. Yeah, this, I don't know, unless we hit something. I think it's going to be a less than impressive penny day or penny night. These just don't want, I mean, granted, one coin can make your whole night, but I don't, for some reason, I don't foresee it happening. They like cutting corners, yeah. That's awesome. Good way to put it. I was going to say, I didn't think there was anything in like law or anything that said they couldn't make some type of... Wish I got more 2023 Phillies so I could look for that extra V. I just don't get them here a lot. Most of my 2023s all end up being Denver. There we go. First hit of the night. In the pennies. So 1959. But the memorial back. A lot of times, any of these in the 50s can actually, let's see, where is the coin here? Come on, can I get it? Pennies are actually probably a little too small to do this with. A lot of time you in the 50s and the 40s you can find pretty good die chips, but don't look like there's anything in that one. At least no die chip that stands out. But there is the first. So that saves the roll from being a skunk. That's nice. So one skunk roll and one 1959. And here's the last roll of pennies. And then we'll get into the quarters, which probably my least favorite denomination, but you still gotta hunt them because there's so much to hunt for in quarters. It's like, even though they're probably my third favorite denomination, they're well worth the hunt. Let's take a quick sip of coffee. Yeah, there's some darker ones in there, but I don't know. We'll see what this roll produces. I was gonna say that one had the copper color look to it for sure. So also, are you basically hoarding pennies yet? I have not. Essentially, I have not been turning my pennies back in for more penny rolls, which typically is like my process. You know, my coins essentially get recycled into more rolls. But there's a part of me that doesn't want to do it in the penny area. What was that? Yeah. And obviously I'm saving all my copper. Oh, just as you typed that in, Raz, I said it. Yeah, I'm hoarding copper. I'm building poundage in copper. Keeping track of my. I essentially what I do. My wife, it drives my wife crazy because we get like those gallon jugs of lemonade. Like, I forget what the brand is. I don't know if I can see one jug from here. But I save every one of those jugs, and I'm essentially just filling them with copper. 5 pounds at a time. She's like, do you really need another jug? I'm like, yep. Kind of a hoarder. And she's like, yeah, you kind of are. Somebody should keep track of how many times I have to take a second look at a coin before I throw it in a jar. Because here's the thing. From here to here, so from here to here, I've forgotten what year it is. It's terrible. '69s we set aside, but they're not a hit. There's an 09. Wish it was in better shape, but we do keep it. We don't call 09s a hit though. They don't get the banger button. Costco chocolate covered raisin jars. That's awesome, Raz. Ours. Mine are the gallon lemonade containers. I think they're just so convenient because they got the screw on top and ooh, corrosion. This one looks older. No, just 74. Wow, that 96. Doesn't that date? I don't know if you guys see it. Doesn't that look like there's doubling in that date? Although I think it is probably just the discoloration along that edge of the numbers. Sure looked like doubling there though to the naked eye, but just discoloration. It's not a bad looking 96 though. Actually, it doesn't have a lot of chatter on it at all. I might just set that aside. That might go into the nice 90s tube. There was not a lot of chatter on that. There's a nicer looking 82. Yeah, Raz is starting to understand my my whole process of coin collecting. Raz is like, that would be the next process, next step. Ooh. Can we even tell? I want to say 90 something. Yeah, it almost looks like 1999. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm not even going to throw that in the jar because I'm not going to worry about it. 24. I think that's the first 24 I've seen tonight. Last 5. The Backwoods system. Yep, there you go. I should market it. Should like market this system. Everybody kind of collects their own way, I guess. 88D, and there are the pennies. So, essentially, because the only thing I really saved was this 09, this roll essentially is a skunker. Alright, let's quarter roll 1 of 2. Comes with 2 dozen jars. That's awesome. I didn't even think of that. Actually, so these jars, you can kind of see how small they actually are. I mean, they fit in my hand, you know, so they're not huge jars. I got them from Hobby Lobby, and they come in a box. They come with a screw on top. You know, they just screw on the top there, and they're like spice jars in like the kitchen and the cooking stuff in Hobby Lobby, and they come in a box of 24. So over time I've bought 2 boxes, so I have 48 of these in my office that are essentially doing different things around the office here. Yeah, they're spice jars. Is what they're meant for. Out of the Hobby Lobby kitchen department area. Quarters are usually a little easier to get a good roll off of. And I don't see anything that's saying silver there. $81. I just scoped a bunch of quarters tonight off stream just to kind of get the quarter jars down a little bit. 2012. My smaller jars had weed in them. That's awesome. Some toning on that one. Either that or just gunk. It looks like gunk. I'm wiping it off. But I don't see a burning building, and I don't see no dye chip on her head or the planes. Naked eye wise. Most of the quarters end up getting looked at it just in a stream, in a scoping stream, just because there's so much to really kind of look for in quarters. Theodore Roosevelt. I do not get a lot of these Theodore Roosevelt 16 quarters. Only seen a couple of them. There's an 02 Tennessee. My most hate. It's funny that I collect Susan B. Anthony's, but yet this is my most hated quarter design. Oh, look at that. 2 of them in one row after I say I really don't hit them that much. '83. Not a bad 83. I do technically save 83s. 82s and 83s. I probably don't need to save the 83s and 82s, but because there were no mint sets, that I think it's those 2 years there were no mint sets. We're hitting a lot of doubles this roll. D. '93. See, now that's not a bad looking 82. What was that, an 82P? Yeah. Not a banger in the sense of the hit button, but could be a little doubling on that the horse's saddle shoe there, but typically is never noticeable without the scope. 86. Denver. Well, don't get a lot of this one either. This quarter roll is gonna be a skunker, I have a feeling. Yep. Well, only way this one wasn't gonna be was if it was a W. It was the right year to be a possible W. Skunker on that. At this rate, we ain't going to have a whole lot to look at on the scope after this. There's one that looks goofy, but I'm guessing it's not gonna be anything exciting. Better condition 94. Voyagers I save occasionally just because it's a Minnesota quarter. Two in a row. Look at that. Wow. I don't know if I'll save those. It depends on what the condition looks like when it hits a scoping stream. I don't see any dye chips in her hair. I don't know if that's hair. What's everybody else think? What do you think, Raz? Some people say that's supposed to be her hair. And then some people say that that's supposed to be like a ribbon, like a streamer that comes off her head as a ballerina. I think I lean towards it's a streamer or like a ribbon that comes off her head. Not essentially her hair. I've always liked this Washington design. $81. Maybe a hat with a feather. Never thought of it that way. I don't know if that crack is that's on the original design. Yes, it must be because it goes behind her and then out the other side. It seemed like it stood out because I think it's dirty in there or something. It was like very prevalent and it never caught my eye like that before. River of No Return. I don't think I get a lot of these either. That might go to the collection just because I don't see it a lot. Not a bad 94. I'm semi-impressed with this. I think this gets set aside right now. Hard to focus doing it this way, but yeah, that 94. I don't know if the camera is even doing it justice. That's still got some sheen to it. That looks like a newer quarter, actually. That I think just on condition wise, I think I'm gonna give that the hit tonight. I don't often do condition hits, but that one I think is. That one definitely. My hated. Nice sheen on it still. Still hate it. $91. Handful of 90s in this roll. Yeah, a lot of detail left. There was. It was not a highly worn, highly circulated quarter. In any means. I don't even know why I look at these, because I just hate looking at them. Another 82. 2 quarters, 81, and a 07 Washington. All right, so there's where we are, basically. Not overly impressive, but I'm excited about a Susan B. Anthony on the end there. I'm going to grab a sip of coffee. Sounds like the son is maybe home. Or no, wait, he works till 11. Alright, so my favorite denomination always ends the night. Or always ends a hunt stream anyways. I've started carrying presidential dollars, anywhere from 12 to 18 of them at a time in my pocket, all the time now, because I like to go into the gas stations we have locally here. If I'm just buying a $3 20-ounce pop or something, that I just want to grab, I'll pay for it with presidential dollars. And there will be like young cashiers, like kids, that are like, they look at you funny because they've never seen them and they don't know if they're legit. Okay, so. All right. We essentially have, I'm calling it a 3 Susan B. Anthony roll. Which is always cool. Because in reality, any Susan B. Anthony, in my opinion, is a hit. I don't give her the hit button all the time unless it's one of those low mintage ones, but John Adams. I don't know if any of these will upgrade the presidential book. We'll look later. Quincy Adams. This might be an upgrade in the book, so we'll set possible upgrades aside. 2000 D has nothing to look for, really. John Adams. Yeah, I suppose I should be checking the presidentials for the side lettering. Or the edge lettering. I've never found one that didn't have it. That's a Sacagawea. James Madison, and it is there. D. $2,000 P. That is a possible Wounded Eagle, but I don't see it there. James Madison. If it's a Philadelphia, it's possibly an upgrade, because the Philadelphia, I have a hard time finding nice looking Philadelphias. Jefferson. Coming up to our first Susan B. Anthony. Another Madison. All right, here's our first Susan B. Anthony, and it is going to be a 79 Denver. So, and she's got a bad cheek scratch. So, not anything over exciting there. 2000 D. There's a 2000 P. Looks like there's a scratch on the wing there and stuff, but I'm guessing we ain't gonna have a wounded. That's definitely a scratch through there. Probably can look at this one just like this and see that it's not there. James Monroe. Denver. It's always the Denvers that seem like they look pretty decent, you know. Quincy Adams with edge lettering D. I don't think that's going to be an upgrade. We can look at the book later today. 99D. So any 99 is essentially a fairly low mintage. It's 11 million. I don't think people understand how low mintage Susan B. Anthony is as a whole. In fact, I earlier tonight went through and added up all of the mintages of Susan B. Anthony's. Forget what I got. I have it written down somewhere, but so 99. I don't know if that's gonna be a book Denver or not. We'll look at the book. I haven't hit a grant in a hunt in a long time. I bet you 15, 20 rolls I haven't hit a grant. You hit all these 2007s, 2008s, 2009s. You don't seem to hit the 10s and 11s or anything farther beyond that often. Because the mintages went down so much. I mean, George Washington, first one in 07. Quincy Adams, it's got couple bad gashes, so that won't upgrade the book. This James Madison, though. We're gonna look at the Madison in the book. And George Washington, I already know that there's a better one in the book. And the last coin of the night is that I believe is an S mark. Yep. 79S. 109 million on the business strike, and I really don't think that's going to upgrade the 79S slot. So there's the hunt anyways. I guess I'm going to move this over here. So I'm going to change you guys out a little bit. As we will do the, we'll go to the scope for, I don't know, half hour or so maybe. Yeah, I think I only have 4 Grant coins, if I remember right. I have 2 regular, no. Yes, 4, I think. Nope, I think I got 5. I think I have 3 business strikes, regular coins, and I think I have 2 proof coins, and the 1 proof coin is in the 70 that I went after in grade. So I think my Grant total is at 5, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I could be wrong. I've been known to be wrong before. Let's see, does that give us what we want on the scope view without me knocking my camera around here? Alright. Let's do a quick, and I don't know how this is going to work. If this is going to show very well. So I was going to see about a John Quincy Adams Denver. No, most definitely not. They're both close, and the camera doesn't probably give you the detail that I see, but I can't see replacing that one. This probably gets saved as a mint state, close to a mint state one. James Madison, Denver. They're close. I'm looking for basically for sure upgrade, you know. And this was a James Monroe, so no, I don't think that upgrades either. You know, it might be a little cleaner. I don't know which one's cleaner. You get some of these that are so close to each other. Let's scope these two just for kicks. There's a little bit of, and these gold colored coins do not do well on the scope, especially for you guys watching. I think this one's a little cleaner. Some chatter on his chin there. But do I think the fields are a little better? Let's slide over to the other one here. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with this one. You know, is it an obvious upgrade? No, I mean it's not, but they're both like right there. All right, and then we were gonna what? We were gonna check the 99, right, for an upgrade on the Susan B. Anthony. I don't even have a 99D in the book. I don't know why. I got a couple over on the shelf. Let me see what I got here. That's why I don't have any 99s in the book. I put them in flips. So here's the two. There's the two 99Ds. I think the one in my flip. Oh, wait a minute. I got a 79 on there. Where's the 99? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. 79, 80, 81, and 99. 81s were only proof coins or mint sets. They were 81 never had a circulation coin. So there's the 99D there. I think my flipped one is better, which I should put in the book. But the reason I haven't put them in the book is because I almost feel, here's my 99 Philly, which she's got, that little bit of chin chatter, what I call chin chatter. The reason I haven't put them in the book is because I think I'm going to chase essentially buying mint sets to try to get into the book, and not try to do it with uncirculated, like hunting uncirculated coins. I still need the 99s in the book, even though I have some here. I could put in the book as holding spots, but I think I'm going to basically fill this book through trying to buy like some mint sets and crack them out of the mint set for the book. So, yeah, it's kind of how I'm approaching that, I guess, mentally. All right, I'm down. I'm out of coffee, so let's do a little bit of mint air checking on the hits of the night. Which means I have to pull up my notes quick. I don't think there's anything on a 2009 nickel. But we can look quick and just see if anything stands out. It's got a lot of chatter, but still not terrible for a 99. There's still steps on it, which is what I think I was saying as we pulled it out of the roll. It's a pretty. It's an alright 09. It was definitely worth the hit and the banger button. I gave this the banger button, didn't I? There's nothing essentially on it, air-wise. Alright, now what are we going to look at? I don't have anything in my. Oh wait, I got a 40S, but this isn't a S. Has repunchment marker. Couple gashes there from something. No, it's not full steps. No. I will agree with you there, Raz. I'm just saying I'm happy it has steps. To any extent. Yeah, so this was the 40 Philly. I don't think anything's gonna crazily stand out on that, so we can call that check done. And this was the back-to-back. This was the 40 and then the 48 in the same roll. This 48 was what? So 48 Denver. Where do I have anything in my notes? No. We'll just see if we can catch a die chip or a crack or a lamination error or something. And nothing going to be there. Or no, this wasn't the back-to-back. We hit the... Oh, wait, no, yeah, maybe it was. I don't know. I can't remember which 240s we hit back-to-back. So this was the 47 Philly. I don't have anything for a 47 Philly either. Most of my notes are taken out of the Strike It Rich book. Still a pretty good strike left. Raz, you've heard me before talk about these older ones where I judge them on, what kind of definition is left between the edge of the rim and the top of the lettering and stuff. And I'm liking the look of that. There's not a lot of detail in him, and there's not going to be a lot of detail in the building. But the lettering definitely survived. The stories that nickel could tell, yeah, you are right there. I always got to check and see. My notes don't tell me what years are the Henning nickels. I don't know if 47 is in there, but it doesn't have the marks that you're looking for. All right, we're going to 2 pennies for the night. A well-worn, circulated 09. And this is the one that I think you're looking for the extra fingers. I mean, sometimes there's an extra thumb right up here or extra finger here. I don't know if there is anything over there, but they're obviously not there, so. And I don't think there's going to be anything else worth a look there. And the other hit of the night is the 59. So there's supposedly a double die obverse on the date, but it's on the wheat reverse. So I don't see anything sticking out. I don't see anything sticking out there. Like I said when we pulled it, a lot of times I find a lot of die chips in these 40s and 50s. I don't see anything on the front. Just out of curiosity, let's go to... What was the mintage on this? 610 million. On the memorial reverse of the 59. And what did we pull for the quarter? Oh yeah, the 94 quarter. I mean, I don't think this is a bad looking 94 quarter. I don't know what anybody else thinks. I don't think there's any particular error on a 94. Nah. I mean, it's got regular chatter, but it don't look like most of the 94s I've seen. That's not many. You're talking about the 610 million on the 59 penny. No, it's not when you look at what they, minted other years to. I think this 94 quarter for sure deserved the banger button it got. How many wheats? Let me look quick. The Wheaties. Oh, I went too far. Oh, 58 was the last Wheatie. So 59 was, which I don't know why this says that then. 58 Denver was 800 million, and then it flops over. So I thought there was a 59 wheat reverse, but maybe I'm mistaken. Let me go back to the other screen here, because it could be on the... $59P and 59D. Yeah, so I don't see anything that's standing out as an error or anything on this 94, but I'm thinking that's a beautiful 94 quarter. That's getting flipped for sure later tonight. All right, for kicks, let's look at our Susan B. Anthony's, because that's what we concentrate on for the most part on the channel. Just see if anything stands out. That is the S Mint. It was hard to tell with just the magnifying glass when we pulled it, but the only thing I don't like about the Susan B. Anthony coin, as probably my biggest collection chase, is the fact that it shares the reverse of the Ike dollar. I'm not a fan of the Ike dollar. So that was the 79S. Here's the 79D, which does not have a variation in the rim, so you only find that on the Philly. I don't see anything. Not a real bad condition. I mean, she's got some head chatter, but the fields aren't bad. All right, and then what did we have? Did I have one more Susan B. Anthony? I thought I had 3 in the hunt. Yeah, it was this one, the 99. Ironically, this 99 Denver's the worst shape out of all of them. The 279s are in better shape than this one. A lot of chatter. Kind of maybe that goes to show you quality control over, from the past to semi-present. Quality typically goes downhill. Or this one just had a lot of circulation and the other ones didn't have as much. All right, that's the hunt. Raz, you still here? If you're still here, Raz, I'm giving you the pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a pack that came out of a select box. So I opened the box and it had this cello pack that you can see the front and the back card. So we'll see if we can hit a packer or something to throw up on the whatnot buy it now bin. Yeah, just you and my buddy lab stream, pretty much. I know my concurrent viewer number never seems to be right, so. And if we take 5 minutes on this football pack opening, we'll put the stream right at about 2 hours. Hunt streams should always just be 2 hours or so, where some of the scoping streams can hit 3 and 4 hours if I just sit and try to get a lot done. It's this one. That's the one you're talking about? The Select. It's actually this brand, but it was in like a hanger box. And I thought it was going to be like either like 3 separate packs, but it's actually this bigger system of parts. I'm assuming a short one tonight. Well, 2 hours is about right for a hunt stream when it's a legitimate coin roll hunt. 2 hours is usually what it takes. It all depends on how much you hit in the hunt that ends up going to then the scope, you know. I mean, that's probably what makes the difference in the hunting streams. Now the scoping streams, yeah, like I said, those will go 3 hours probably at the shortest. All right, let's see. Can we hit a packer? Tried it. And these are going to be terrible on screen because of how shiny Select is. I mean, they're going to glare out a lot of times. Rasul Douglas. I liked him when we had him as a packer. I cannot complain about what he did as a packer. DeMarcus Lawrence. Amari Cooper. And I don't know, these selects have different levels. Like, okay, so that says concourse, which might just be the base. Yeah, because that's concourse. There's like concourse and field level, and so Amari Cooper is a concourse. But I'm just not familiar with them. Jahan Dodson on a concourse. Okay, so here's rookies. Will Reichert. Somebody will buy, a Viking fan will probably want that card. It's a concourse, but it's his rookie. And I'm thinking Vikings fans are satisfied with what he's doing. Kyle Hamilton. Now I'm guessing this is not a concourse. Nope. So it's a concourse. Kyle Hamilton. Lamar Jackson. I'm guessing on a concourse. Najee Harris on a die cut. So die cut. Najee Harris. Maybe I'll throw that on the whatnot. Fred Taylor, that's a cool card. That is obviously not a concourse. What do they call these? Oh, that's a concourse, but so it's still a concourse card, but it's definitely got some kind of shine to it. DJ Moore of the Bears. We don't care for that. So now we're getting into these other. Oh, these might be the specific to that box. I don't know. Shaq Thompson. So this is a prism. So these all had to be prisms. Yeah, so these are prisms. A numbers Devontae Adam. I think we should have never gotten rid of him personally, but that's just me. A rookie Keon Coleman for the Bills. Somebody will definitely want that. Bo Nix rookie card. Doesn't say prism or anything. It just, maybe that's a base card. A turbocharged Patrick Mahomes. A Jair Alexander in a Packer uniform. I'm not giving him the Packer hit. Number one, I don't really miss him. And he's no longer, and I know he's no longer a Packer, so we're not doing the Packer hit on that. And Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, these cards refuse to focus because of how shiny they are. There's a retro Mike Allstott. Corey Trice. Yeah, Nix is having a good year. That's why I'm saying that's a $2 or $3 card to somebody. So, and a Travon Walker. So, no Packers. I mean, you could argue that the Jair Alexander's card's a Packer, but I'm not giving it the Packer hit. He is not a Packer. So, well, I would say this definitely is. That's sleevable. That'll end up on Whatnot, in the Whatnot bin for sure. Anybody's interested in it. I don't know. I might just because it's Adams, I might throw that up as a $1 card or $2 card. I don't know. These are the three cards that I think are like parallels specific to that particular box, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Somebody might be interested in the Najee Harris die cut. I don't know. But I don't know. In my opinion, those are the two cards of that cello pack, Raz, if you ask me. Raz, you must be taking over some of the stats as far as Streamlabs go. Let's see, what is it? Let's just check some stats quick here at the end of the stream. Oh, that's just telling me how many points I have. I look at commands. It's been 2 weeks since I've streamed. I gotta look at commands. Oh. On the wrong screen. There, you got the Packer hit without even having a Packer card.
Go, Pack, go!
So Raz, you. Well, yeah. Otherwise, I would be talking to myself a lot, but I talk a lot to myself anyway, so it's not like it is a big deal. Or I'd just be sitting here live doing my coins by myself. What are you, number 3, Raz, in coins? 455. But watch this, Raz.
Go, Pack, go!
It always does that when I type. Gives you all my pop-ups. people are getting too much of the Packer girl tonight without even hitting a card. Oh, I spelled it wrong. That's why. Wait, what?
Go, Pack, go!
There you go. There you go, Raz. You've hung out with, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but you've hung out with me for almost 12 hours. I don't know if that's what that's saying, but that could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing, I guess. I do appreciate it, though, Raz. Without a doubt. For sometimes it's just me and you. This is a blast. I'm a little surprised you're only number 3 in points, though. But that could be because you've done some lurking in streams where you, because points only accumulate, from what I understand, points will only accumulate with activity in chat. So you could be in the stream and in chat, but if you don't say anything all night long, you end up essentially probably not, from the way I understand it, not accumulating anything. In points, yeah. Although it's weird because I think he changed his YouTube name. Because now if you scroll up and look at top points from Streamlabs there, see that Nash Family 2013, number 1, 1265? That has to be Timmy. Because he's the only one that had that many points. So I'm thinking he changed his YouTube account name. And the reason he has that many points is because he when he's in here, he'll gamble and he'll heist and stuff like that. You know, so he's gambling a lot of his coins. Where he had a heist, I think it was the last stream I did. He had a heist where he actually increased his points like 500-600 or something like that. He got a big dump off of a heist. It's just weird. It's like there's no way to really figure out, like, time-wise for streaming, like when it's going to be just me and you, or when we're going to get you, Timmy, Coach's Magic, Investable Collectibles, Littlefoot, and basically a lot of the other guys that I see often. Camera doesn't want to focus half the time. I'm wondering if my camera has a hard time focusing like in this screen because the background is so busy and everything on back on my walls are kind of crazy. So 2-hour hunt stream wasn't bad. I mean, I'm going over 2 hours now just because we're BSing. Not really accomplishing anything in the coin world. Yeah, you and me both, Raz. So, remember I was telling you I was doing Susan B. Anthony like total mintage numbers earlier tonight. I left my notes in my book. So, if you look at this, so in 79, this is P, D, and S. I do believe they had an S, yes. So there were, in 79, it's 757 million across all mints. In 1980, there's 80. They dropped to 89 million. In 81, there's only 9 million total, and that's, remember I was saying that's the year, where they were all mint sets, you know. And then the 1999s was 41 million across all the mints, and then all the proofs through, so like all the San Francisco proofs, and actually there's a Philly proof in 99. But all the proofs through all those years only add up to 12 million. So essentially, if you take all those totals, add them up, throw in the 12 million proofs, that's what you're going to have as total minted Susan B. Anthony's ever. And so look at that number. And that, I don't know, maybe this is partly why I collect them. Look at that number compared to nickels, dimes, cents, quarters. As a whole number, I mean, I don't think people do the math on Susan B. Anthony's. That's my opinion. I tell people all the time, that's kind of my Susan B. Anthony motto now. To people that are like, why do you collect Susan B. Anthony's? I'm like, do the math. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. I found a new pair of glasses in my drawer the other day, and I'm just not sure if they're the right prescription or not. Yeah, 758 million for that 1 year is a lot. Where'd it go? But when you look at it as a whole, like when you look at, I don't know, maybe I'm not making any sense as to how I'm looking at it. When you look at completely how many Susan B. Anthony's exist, as a whole and compare that to completely how many quarters exist and nickels and dimes and pennies and stuff like that's the argument I'm making. Granted, you can break it down, and yeah, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony is not, when you start looking at individual years, you're right. Yeah, 750 is a lot. But okay. I'm gonna look quick. Let's see. 1979 Lincoln penny. Let's see how many 1979 Lincoln pennies were minted. So 79 Lincoln pennies, in 79 Philly had 6 billion. Denver had 4 billion. So essentially 10 billion Lincoln pennies in 79. Let's look at nickels. Nickels might be a little lower. What are the 79 nickels? Oh, that's why I'm like, what? That number can't be right. I'm looking at proofs. Where is 79? So nickels in 79 had 463 Phillies and 325 million Denvers. So let's do backwoods math here. Let's call it 8, 11, 818 million. So they're pretty on par there with each other in 79. Let's look at dimes quick. 79, 315 million Phillies, 390 million Denvers. There were no S circulations, so we'll call it 6, 7, somewhere in the 700 million for dimes as a total. Quarters, yeah, these glasses are definitely not my current prescription, because if I wear these more than 5 minutes, I'm going to end up with a headache. Circulation quarters in 79. Let's see how close we get here. Phillies had 515 and Denver's had 489 million. That's the point I'm making, is when you look at Susan B. Anthony dollars, there's not a lot of them out there in relation to what is out there in some of the other denominations. Granted, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot, but I don't see how they're not more collectible. All right, Raz, I'm gonna call it a stream. I think it was a good one. We had a good hunt. Did a little bit of scoping. We're just hitting 220. Oh, you know what we should do though? I should do this each stream. Let's do this. I should make this a habit. We did 3 more, so that's going to move us up to 19 penny rolls on the year. Nickels, we did 4, so that's going to be 73 on the year. I'm not updating. I will update the actual fines here later tonight or something. Quarters, we did 2 tonight. So if my backwoods math is right. And dollars, we did our typical 1. We didn't add anything to the presidential fines. But we can add, let's see. $79S, we're going to move up to 4. So the 79S, we're going to move up to 4. Actually, we're moving them up. We're moving S's up to actually another one. They were both S's tonight. No, one was a D. So 79D, we're going to move up to 14 there. And the 99 was a D. We are moving the 99D up to 2 hunted for the year. I updated the Packer polls. We're going to move that up to 7. And we are because we didn't pull a Packer tonight, we are at a no streak. All right, I think that's all updated. All those are updated except for the numbers and stuff of the coin. And all right, I don't know if you already took off, Raz, but if you didn't, thanks for hanging out. Have a good night. We'll see you probably, I'm hoping, in the next day or so. I'm going to get on and do a scope stream. So thanks for hanging out. Appreciated as always, and we will talk to you next time.